This is Liz with Crafty Devotion. I'm going to show you some more lace flowers, lace petal flowers specifically. I will show you various ways to make them. This is an advanced lesson, so I will not be showing you a lot of details. We will be using a hairpin to create items with AlaLiz technique. We're going to start with a lace fabric. This lace fabric is approximately 13 inches long and 3 inches wide. No, it's 4 inches wide. You can use how I showed you in the past to wrap it around a piece of cardboard to measure it, but all I'm going to do, because lace is thin, it does very well just folding it. It holds together. It doesn't slip and slide like a satin will. This one's going to be, oops, gotta keep that in camera. There we go. And just cut your petals. I've taught you how to do these in more detail. Cut the petals in more details in a previous video if you want to learn more on how to do that. You cut it. Take the AlaLiz technique by using a pin. You put it right here and then you just gather it up. Now these pins, I have bent them slightly. If you can tell on this one, it's bent. They're bent slightly, and bending them slightly helps you to be able to keep it from sticking so often on the. Okay, the other thing I do is I use a cotton string. You place it here at the middle. I'm going to just put it here. Now remember, this is advanced. I've shown you this in detail in previous videos, so I'm not going to take too much time to show you. But tighten it before you take off the pin. And then you just finish tying it nice and snug. You can use it as a center, or you can use it in the back of other flowers. This, I used a eyelet lace, and it has a petal flower underneath, just like the one I showed you, just a slightly different color of fabric. And that's a circle flower I showed you in a previous video. I will show you how I made this one, this particular one. I used this fabric. This fabric's around 4 inches wide. It's a eyelet lace. I simply took my eyelet lace, and you can tear off the edges. You can cut it in any fashion that you want. And what I did is I took this part of the fabric here, and I cut it into petals. Here's another sample. I'm going to show you one. I think this might be a slightly different fabric, but I can show you the petals. So this one was a different fabric, so it was slightly different, but you just simply cut it into petals, and you just attach it on to the pin, one petal at a time. I've shown you how to attach one petal at a time, cut one petal at a time in another video, video number 2. You can just fold it and then just cut them, because you can do that with this. Now here's another piece. I used this part here to make this beauty. Oops. Isn't that pretty? And then let's see, I thought I had a little sample. Oh, here's a sample. See, I cut the petal like this, where I just angled it, and you can see them in there. You see that? You see that? That looks lovely also. I love how that one came out. Now you can add more or less petals. You need to experiment yourself when you're doing these types of things, because I have been experimenting and I'm showing you some of my results so you can decide if you want to try it. This is probably about 5 or 6 inches wide, and you can do the same things with it. You can tear it, and see, this is that other one I showed you, and you can cut it out by the pattern. So you can decide, you might be able to go as big as 4, but you can cut it here right in the center, and then you just round the edges, and it can become, you can do it more neatly, and it can become a flower, AlaLiz technique. But I want to show you what I did with this part, because I want you to know that you do not have to use the AlaLiz technique. I use more than just that one technique. I use other techniques where I've learned these mostly from Fiona. She does a lot of them, and she sews. I sewed this one as well as this one. After I cut it, I used this part and I sewed along here and made this flower. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of this little scallops, and then I just sewed it and gathered it. So I'm showing you a lot of no-sew techniques, but realize that sometimes it's better for a lace to use the sewing technique, because it's a beautiful, beautiful flower. As well as, let's say, this pink one. They make beautiful flowers. So you don't need to make just one technique. And here's this type of petal here, and this one. You see how beautiful that looks? You can see how cute that is. And here's another one. And all these are, it's great for you to do things like this if you don't have a lot of laces and you have maybe a lot of one lace, that, like I do sometimes. But you can take your lace and, let me show you. Here's the lace. This one is gathered slightly here. This particular one, I did not take off the edge. I didn't cut it like I cut one of the others. And I simply just got several and stuck them on the pin and then wrapped it around. I did switch around, so can you notice how this one is actually more pointy? So that's where I got the variation. See, this one's a little pointier, and this one is not so pointy. It's done just like this one, and you simply wrap it with your string and you tie it up, and it becomes that beautiful, beautiful little you can use one lace and make it look different, so that you can add variety with minimal amount of laces, or if you want a certain look. And then I have this technique. I'm not going to show you it this time, but it's also using a thin lace. This is using a lace much like the one I just showed you. It looks a lot like this, and I made this out of it. And if you want to learn this one, I can show you that in the future. I just don't have too much time to show it all to you, but it's another one I came up with. And here's another version of that same one. It's the same type of flower. It's just made with a thicker, this pink lace here. And it looks beautiful underneath this one. You see that? Isn't that lovely? So if there are any flowers here that you want to know more details or have questions on, just let me know. I have used the techniques that I have shown you already to make these flowers. The circle flower. This one right here is actually this lace sewn. So I do use the sewing technique. And this is an AlaLiz one. This one is a t-shirt flower. This is a round lace t-shirt flower, and we made this last time. Beautiful. This one is the puff flower again, It's a light, very, very light pink, and it would look lovely behind this. See that? And this one is eyelet lace, and this top one is done AlaLiz technique, and the bottom one is sewn with the AlaLiz technique circle flower underneath. This is giving you a variety of ways you can create things. This one has a petal flower underneath, a circle flower, and then I remember I showed you this one last time, and I made this lovely, I was experimenting with centers, and I made that center. Let me know what you think about that center. I liked it, but I'm not sure. This is a circle, petals in the middle, with AlaLiz technique flower lace on top. This one I fell in love with, but it doesn't come out very well. It's a really like an eggplant purple, but it looks so dark on the video. Hopefully it'll look, you can really see that when you see it. But it has a lavender lace on the bottom, which I couldn't figure out how to use this lace for the life of me until I discovered this technique, because it's like a 5 inches wide lace. So when I used it with the AlaLiz technique, it looked so beautiful. You see that? So if you have any questions, please message me. If you'd like me to show you another technique, message me. I will take into consideration what you are interested in. But until next time, please subscribe to my channel, share my channel with your friends, and I do answer your messages. I'm checking them regularly. See you next time.